Всем добрый день. Жду, когда начнется трансляция, чтобы точно быть уверенной, что все началось. Угу. Вижу, что началась трансляция. Еще раз всех приветствую в этот вторник. Погода нас не очень радует, по крайней мере, в нашем регионе, где я сейчас нахожусь. Но будем надеяться, что скоро придет лето, и об этом говорит нам то, что сегодня у нас с вами последний вебинар из 10, которые мы с вами провели. И сегодня, как обычно, я с вами, Дарья Александровна, проведу вебинар на тему Страноведения Великобритании, не только английский. Да, мы будем сегодня говорить о языках. И давайте, пока мы еще не начали, пока еще только 15:01, ждем, пока все подключатся, и поставьте, пожалуйста, плюсики в чат, если вы с нами, если вы готовы работать, и мы начнем. И я жду 5 секундочек, и после мы будем говорить только на английском, как обычно, да? Давайте начинать. Let's start. So let's look at this brilliant phrase. April 23, the 23rd of April, English Language Day. Did you know it? That 4 days ago was the English Language Day. Is it a new information for you? Yes, actually, we have days for different languages, like we celebrate the English Language Day, the Russian Language Day, and so on and so on. So actually there are only 6 days this year which have their special languages, right? And it was established by UN, the United Nations, Организация Объединенных Наций, in 2010, I guess. And why the 23rd of April? Why was this date chosen? Why this date was chosen? Let's look, let's read it. For the English Language Day, April was chosen because it is the date traditionally observed as both the birthday and date of death of William Shakespeare. Both the birthday and here you can see very interesting construction. Both and. И день рождения, и день смерти. Both and. And you can see the date of birth of William Shakespeare here and his date of death here. So he was born on the 26th of April and he died on the 23rd of April. That's why this day was chosen. And let's look at his works. Have you read anything of Shakespeare? Maybe his sonnets, да, сонеты, maybe Romeo and Juliet, or Hamlet, or Othello. Have you read anything of this author? Please write in comments. You can write plus or minus. You can write the name of the book which you've read. Please write something in the comments. I'm always eager to read your comments. I'm glad to see that you work, that you read something. You may not read it in English. It's very difficult to read Shakespeare in English, right? But actually it's a pleasure to read him in Russian. It's very interesting. And you can watch a film too. Yes, I think that this drama has a very good film, Russian film, Soviet film. So I recommend it to you. And just to laugh a little bit, I have a couple of memes for you. So happily ever after, never heard of it. Happy end. He does not like happy ends, right? And used you instead of you before it went mainstream. Перед тем, как это стало мейнстримом. Before it went mainstream. That's very interesting, actually. If you open one of his books in English and try to read, maybe you'll find a lot of interesting things. So maybe a little bit later, you should try it. I recommend it too. And let's look at the UN Language Days calendar. Here it is. So, 4 days ago, it was the English Language Day and also the Spanish Language Day. And 7 days ago, it was the Chinese Language Day. And the French Language Day was in March. And the Russian one will be in June. And there is also Arabic in December. But why do we have these 6 languages? Why not Portuguese? Why not German? Why? Let's look. The events were established to celebrate multilingualism and cultural diversity, as well as to promote equal use of all 6 of its official working languages throughout the organization. Organization is the United Nations, Организация Объединенных Наций, right? And the events, мероприятия, were established, были установлены, установлены, to celebrate, да, чтобы как бы отметить мультилингвизм, да, большое количество, большое разнообразие языков, под этим термином понимается, and cultural diversity, культурное разнообразие, as well as to promote, так же как продвигать, да, рекламировать, как бы продвигать, equal use of all 6 its official working languages. Equal, одинаковый, similar, equal, да, одинаковое использование всех 6 официальных языков организации, да, это официальные языки Организации Объединенных Наций. So that's why we celebrate these 6 dates, these 6 fests. And why is it the 6th of June for Russian? Do you remember that that day was the birthday of Alexander Pushkin? That's why we celebrate the Russian language day on the 6th of June. And what languages do you speak except Russian? Do you speak Spanish? Do you speak French? Please write in the chat. I will be glad to read your comments. Actually, of all of these languages, I also speak Spanish, Russian, of course, English, and a little bit French. And let's move on. What languages are spoken in the UK? We know the UK is a big country, and there is not only the Englishmen who live there. We had this topic like 3 or 2 webinars ago, and we discussed that there are a lot of peoples who live in the UK. Там много народов, a lot of peoples, a lot of different nations. And now let's find out not about their cultural diversity, but about their linguistic diversity, да, лингвистическое разнообразие. We've already discussed the cultural diversity, and now let's talk about the linguistic one. So let's read the text. I'm sure that it will be very interesting that the Englishmen don't speak only the English language. Let's find out. Do people in the UK speak English? Yes, of course, but English is far from the only language people in the UK speak. In fact, English isn't the only indigenous language spoken in the UK. There are quite a few more. And we can add to those a large number of foreign languages spoken by the diverse population in the UK. So which languages are the most common in the UK, and who speaks them? Do you remember this word, indigenous? Коренные, да? Indigenous language, коренной язык, тот, который не был занесен на какую-то территорию, а уже там был indigenous. For example, an indigenous tribe, коренное племя. Indigenous population, коренное население. And diverse population, разнообразное население, да? Diverse, diversity. The most common, самые как бы свойственные. Common это как обычный, да? Общий. Common, общий. And you can look at this picture as well when we read the text. So firstly, we'll read about the indigenous languages in the UK. Indigenous languages. There are 14 different indigenous languages used across the UK. English, Scots, Welsh, Gaelic, Irish, Cornish, Manx, Anglo-Romani, Shelta, and etc. English has the most number of speakers, while Cornish, a language used in Cornwall, probably has the least. Only about 500 people speak it fluently. Here are some of the major indigenous languages still alive in the UK. So you can see that the majority of people, like everyone, speaks English. It's the yellow field. And some people speak Scots, those who live in Scotland, right? Or Scottish Gaelic here. And you can see Welsh in Wales, of course. And let's look to speak fluently. Fluently means rapidly, quickly, and without making mistakes, да? Как бы бегло, связано, без ошибок. Бегло связано. Major. The major indigenous languages. Major это как главные, самые большие. And you can see that some of these languages have so many, so little population, people who speak it. And let's try. let's read the next part of the text about the indigenous languages in the UK. So English is the first one. Some people are surprised to learn that English isn't the official language of the United Kingdom. Look, it isn't. It's not. It's not the official language. But it is the de facto language of the UK because it's the main language of around 92% of the population. There are lots of different dialects of English in the UK, but everyone can more or less understand each other. It's not the official language, it's not in the law, да? Он неофициальный, не закреплен законом. It's de facto, да? De facto, по-русски de facto, значит, что не закреплено законом, но общепринято. And 92% of the population speaks English. They can more or less, более или менее понимать друг друга. It's wonderful, more or less. I think that this phrase is not clear. What does it mean, more or less? Don't they understand each other? And let's read about the Welsh language. Hello, Welsh. Welsh is the only language listed as an official language in any part of the UK, in Wales. About 1 million people speak Welsh. They mainly live in Wales, but they do live in other parts of the United Kingdom too. Welsh is a Celtic language, and English is Germanic. So the languages are definitely not mutually intelligible. Actually, they are very, very different. You'll notice this immediately if you travel to Wales, as many of the road signs are in Welsh as well as in English. Look, they are not mutually intelligible. Definitely, определенно, not mutually intelligible. Взаимно непонятные. It means that people who speak English, they don't understand Welsh, and those who speak only Welsh, they don't understand English, because they are very different. And if you travel to Wales and see the road signs, you'll understand it. And now we are going to see the road signs. Let's look at them. I'm not going to read in Welsh because I don't know this language. I cannot read in Welsh, unfortunately. But we can read in English. And you can see ancient bridge. I guess that this word is for bridge, like pond. But ancient, it's a completely different word. Or here, museum. It doesn't look like museum. You would never understand. Or tourist information. What's this? How to read it? It's so difficult. You would never understand it if you went to England without knowing that that's Welsh, actually. Or school. It looks completely different. And the next language we're going to discuss is Scots. Scots is the second most spoken language in the UK, with around 1.5 million speakers in Scotland. Some people think Scots is a dialect of English, but it is counted as a separate language in surveys. Most people who speak Scots learned it as a second language, and it's seen as an important way to keep Scottish culture alive. Let's look. So, some people think that it's a dialect of the English language, but it's counted, он считается counted as a separate, да, отдельный language in surveys. Survey is a study, is a research. These are synonyms: research, survey, or study. And the majority of people who speak Scots learned it as a second language, да? То есть это выученный язык для многих, кто на нем говорит. Though 1.5 million people speak Scots. And let's look at this language. I guess that you can see a lot of familiar words for you, like never, seen, them. But what's this? A for, and all of this. So it's more simple. It's easier for English speakers to learn Welsh, to learn Scots. Sorry, not Welsh. Welsh is different. Scots is more or less similar. So there are some words which are the same completely. And let's go on. The number of people who speak foreign languages in the UK is growing year by year. Over 300 different languages are spoken just in London, but some languages are spoken more than others. Polish. Dzień dobry, Polish. Welcome to the #1 spot for foreign languages in the UK. It's estimated that there are around 800,000 native Polish speakers in the UK. Polish is not a new language in the UK, but the number of speakers grew quickly after Poland joined the European Union in 2004. Now you can find a польский склеп to buy your Polish groceries in most towns in the UK. Польский склеп – это польский магазин, right? It's like a shop. It's not like Russian sklep. And I guess that you remember that when we had a webinar about cultural diversity in Great Britain, we discussed that there are a lot of Eastern Europeans in the United Kingdom. And the Polish nation is one of these peoples who live in the United Kingdom from the Eastern Europe. And Punjabi, Urdu, Bengali, and Gujarati. These 4 languages together are the main languages of the large Indian, Pakistani, and Bangladeshi populations in the UK. Together they have over 2 million speakers. Some of these languages are second or third generation immigrants who are bilingual in English and one of these languages. Bengali is the second most spoken language in London after English. And Arabic. Marhaba to our speakers, to our Arabic-speaking friends. Arabic is the 5th most spoken foreign language in the UK. It's the main language of around 200,000 people here. Arabic speakers come from all over the world to live, study, and do business in the UK. Arabic has also recently been promoted as a good language for children in the UK to learn at school. It has also recently been promoted, да, его недавно поддержали, как бы прорекламировали, поддержали, as a good language for children to learn at school? Would you like to learn Arabic at school? Or English is enough for you? English, and if you learn something like German or Spanish, you know that these languages are not that different. But in this picture, you can see the Arabic language. It's very different. They use hieroglyphics, and it's very different. The hieroglyphics, hieroglyphy, it's very different. And now, when we read the whole text, let's match the languages with the facts about them. So, the number of speakers grew quickly after that country joined the European Union in 2004. Some people think this language is a dialect of English, but it's counted as a separate language in surveys. It's the main language of around 92% of the population in the UK. We mean, of course, in the UK. It has been promoted as a good language for children in the UK to learn at school. It's the second most spoken language in London after English. And it's the only language listed as an official language in Wales. So, let's look. The English language, I think that it's very easy for you. English is the main language of around 92% of the population. The next one, Welsh. Do you remember that Welsh was very different from English? And Welsh, of course, is the only language listed as an official one in Wales. And Scots. Scots was more or less like the English language. Some people think that it's a dialect of English, but it's not. It's listed as a separate one, a separate one. And the next one, Polish. The number of speakers grew quickly after that country, after Poland joined the European Union, sorry. And Bengali. We have two options. Choose one. And I think that it's quite easy, right? It's the second most spoken language in London after English. And the last one, Arabic. It has been promoted as a good language to learn. And now, let's read the last part of the text. And actually, it's the last task. No, it's not the last task, sorry. We'll have one more task today. So, first of all, let's read this text and fill in the gaps with the words derived from those in bold. Native English speak are terrible at learning foreign languages. In fact, around 62% of the UK are monolingual and can't speak any second language. That's pretty... You should derive the word, yeah, compared to our European neighbors. То есть, что мы тут делаем? Мы делаем слова, которые подойдут сюда, из тех, которые даны с помощью суффиксов, приставок, да, и так далее. То есть мы делаем другую часть речи. Допустим, done verb, глагол, да, нужно сделать native English, Верное существительное. Let's read till the end, and then we'll see the answers. You can read and write your answers in the chat. Да, можете писать в чате ответы. Of those breeds who can speak another language, French is the most popular, with German and Spanish coming in second, and the many languages spoken in the UK make the country a diverse and more interesting place. And while you will be able to speak to the greatest number of people if you learn English, whether you speak other languages, you are to find someone speaking your language here too. And now let's see the answers. Native English speakers. Да? Говорящие на английском языке. Да? Для кого этот язык родной. Native English speakers are terrible at learning foreign languages. I wonder why. Because everyone learns English, maybe. And around 62% of the UK population, да, население, population, are monolingual. То есть говорят на одном языке. They speak just one language. It means monolingual. And they can't speak any second language. That's pretty... это смущает, да? Как мы скажем, что это смущает? It's pretty embarrassing. Embarrassing, да, это смущает. Compared to our European neighbors. And German and Spanish coming in second, and, да, то есть это будет уже порядковое числительное, не количественное. Second and third. And the next one. The many. У нас тут дан глагол differ. Нужно сделать прилагательное. The many different languages. And the last one. You are to find someone speaking your language here too. С большой вероятностью вы найдете кого-то. Как сказать с большой вероятностью вы найдете кого-то, используя like? Что нужно добавить к этому слову? We need to add you are likely to find someone. Likely – это как вероятно. And it is a construction, да, это конструкция. To be likely to do something. Вероятнее всего, скорее всего, да. You are likely to meet him at school. Скорее всего, ты встретишь его в школе. You are likely to meet him at school. He's not likely to waste his money. Да, он, скорее всего, не будет тратить свои деньги. He's not likely to waste his money, for example. And let's look at the final task, the last one. And it's actually the last task of our course. Да, это последнее задание нашего курса. Let's read the phrase, which was pronounced by Kiyo Akasaka. He said, it was Shakespeare who coined the phrase, a feast of languages. Kiyo Akasaka said, multilingualism clearly reflects the bounty of ideas, heritage, and spirit that constitutes this feast. Feast here as a festival, celebration. And to coin, it was Shakespeare who coined. Да, это был Шекспир, кто придумал фразу coin. Это вообще чеканить, да, как coin это монета. Мы знаем, что coin это монета. You can use it as a verb, да, можно использовать как глагол чеканить, да. кто как бы создал, отчеканил фразу. A feast of languages, праздник языков, пир языков. And multilingualism clearly reflects the bounty of ideas. Да? Мультилингвизм отражает щедрость идей, наше наследие, heritage, и дух, который составляет этот праздник, to constitute, составлять, да? That's a very beautiful phrase. I like this one. And I offer to you to report the following sentence, which was the first part of this quote. Let's report it and let's remember how to report the speech. It was Shakespeare. We need to put the verb, which was in past simple, was in past perfect. So it was past simple. Let's make it past perfect. And coined was also past simple. Let's make it past perfect. Kiyo Akasaka said that it had been Shakespeare who had coined the phrase a feast of languages. Да, кто сказал эту фразу? We use had been because here we have past simple, да? Тут есть past simple, поэтому мы спускаемся на ступень ниже, идем еще назад. У нас было past simple, мы еще пошли назад, получилось past perfect. And let's discuss what you can read, what you can watch to prepare for the final test. Let's do it in Russian. Да, ребята, вы помните, что можно пройти итоговое тестирование по этим вебинарам, 10, которые были в этом семестре, с 9 февраля по сегодняшний день. И я дам вам сейчас несколько советов, что нужно повторить, чтобы пройти это тестирование. Для чего оно нужно? Вы можете получить сертификат по прохождению этого тестирования и положить его в свое портфолио. Потом это очень вам может пригодиться при поступлении или для других каких-то конкурсов. Поэтому я вам советую пройти это тестирование, получить сертификат. И для того, чтобы его пройти, там будет 10 вопросов, я советую еще раз пересмотреть кратенько вебинары или смотреть их в процессе выполнения задания. Повторите первый семинар и текст про Tower of London. Повторите, как образуется пассивный залог, passive voice и reported speech. Посмотрите вебинары про Taking a Gap Year, about the Duke of Edinburgh's Award, about the Russian land is rich with talents, and a webinar about a multicultural society, multinational Russia. Read the text of these webinars. And the 8th webinar about Soviet space firsts. And you can find these tests here. Go to this website, and you can find this text here. Да? Вы можете найти тесты вот на этой вкладочке на данном сайте. Thanks a lot. Спасибо вам большое. Я была очень рада провести с вами эти 10 вебинаров. Надеюсь, что они были вам полезны. Надеюсь, что вы смогли научиться многому. И я буду рада вашим комментариям в под этим видео по итогу этого курса. So, I'm waiting for your comments below this video, and I will be glad to read them. I'm so happy that we've had such a wonderful period of these webinars, and I'm glad that you could learn something, new, something more that is more interesting than just your school program, right? And see you in the future, and don't forget to practice your English, because practice gives you a lot of opportunities. So don't forget to practice every day, little by little, just 5 minutes a day, and you will be a brilliant speaker of English. And goodbye. See you